Hey guys, it's Leanne. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, big welcome. And if you're not new, of course, welcome back and thank you so much for returning to watch me and hopefully subscribing by now. Turn on the notification bell. Today's video is a new series that I've got in mind for my YouTube channel. So normally on a Friday, I do a Foundation Friday video, but I'm kind of running out of foundations at the minute to review and test. I've tried that many and there's not really many new ones that I've seen on the market. So of a Friday now, I'm going to be doing Friday favourites, which is just going to be a little series of my top 5, for example, foundations, concealers, eyeshadow palettes, beauty sponges, top 5 brushes, just things like that. As I've done a poll on my Instagram, which I'll leave on screen, and a lot of people said it's something that they'd be interested in. So I'm starting today's series off with foundations. So if you would like to see my top 5 foundations and the reasons why they're my top 5 foundations, then please keep on watching. But before we jump in, as always, I'm just going to remind everyone to please subscribe to my YouTube channel, as that would help me out so much. Please like this video as well if this is the type of content that you would actually like to see from this channel. So more like the review side of makeup rather than tutorials. Please like the video to let me know if this is what you actually like. And also drop me a comment down below, let's chat. I'm always open to any suggestions for this channel and I'm always interested to hear feedback. And lastly, please turn on the notification bell, because then that means you won't miss any uploads from me, which I do try my best to upload every week now. So yes, without any further ado, let's just jump in. So, like I've just explained in the intro, today's video is my top 5 foundations. Now, I don't know if I can put them in an order. I don't know if these are going to be ordered because I really just love them all. So, I'm going to start with the foundation that I've actually got on my skin today. Like, I do really love this foundation. And this is the Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. Now, I'm a mixture of shades. So, the 2 shades that I've used today and mixed together is F8.5 and F10, so a bit of a darker one and a bit of a lighter one. So I've mixed them 2 together today to find my perfect shade, but I think they do have a lot of shades anyway, I'm sure they do. But the reason why I love this foundation is because it's cruelty free and vegan, so that's a big bonus for me. I always try and look out for makeup that's cruelty free and vegan, even better. And also it is actually full coverage. I feel like some foundations just say the full coverage and they're really not. So with this foundation, I do find that it is full coverage, as in when I apply this to my skin, I can instantly see redness goes, blemishes go, it builds up really well. It does dry a little bit fast, so I feel like you've kind of got to work a little bit fast. I wouldn't just let it sit on the skin for a while. I would just kind of go in with your beauty sponge straight away, or your brush, however you like to do it. But yeah, this foundation, I'm going to leave the price on screen, but I know it's such good value as well. It's such a good foundation, probably one of my best drugstore foundations anyway, but also just out of any foundation I've tried, it's obviously in my top 5. So yeah, I definitely recommend this foundation. However, the only thing that really gets me about this foundation, and one thing I really strongly dislike about this foundation, is the actual applicator. So it's not a pump, it's just more of a doe foot applicator. So I actually find this really hard to work with because not enough ever comes out, and I don't know, I just don't like it. I just so prefer a lot more if it had a pump. So if anyone from Revolution is watching this, please can we just get this foundation, which I love so much, but can we just have it with a pump? Like, it'd just be so much easier, so much quicker. So yeah, that's the only downside to this foundation, is the actual applicator. But apart from that, as you can hopefully see, or hopefully you'll agree, that the skin in today's look is just absolutely flawless. It photographs so well. It really is full coverage. It blends well. And it doesn't crack in places that it shouldn't. Like, some foundations really do crack in, like, they give you wrinkles that you didn't even know you had. I feel like this foundation doesn't. It just does what it says on the tin. So it is a full coverage foundation, and it literally is one of my favourite foundations of all time. So moving on to my other favourite foundation now. So this is another full coverage one, and I do really love a full coverage. My thought is kind of like, for myself anyway, my thought is kind of like for my own skin and my own makeup, I'm very all or nothing. I'll either go out with no makeup on, bare face, or I'll either do a full glam, full coverage look. There's no in between with me, sort of. So I'm all about full coverage. So I've tried a lot of full coverage foundations, but the Maybelline Superstay 24 Hours and the shade I'm in is 30 Sand. This is one of my favourite full coverage foundations also. The only thing that I would say about this foundation is that it's a very matte foundation, so it's going to be really probably ideal for people with very like oily skin, but I've got normal / combination skin. But anyway, I do like this foundation, but the only thing that I have to do for this foundation is to apply it with a dewy primer. So I'm going to show you the primer that I use to apply underneath this foundation. So I use the NYX Honeydew Me Up primer, and I tried this. This was recommended for this foundation because on my first try of this foundation, you know what I was just saying before about like some foundations give you wrinkles you didn't even know you had. They sit in like around, they can gather around the nose or the chin area. So this foundation, I'm not sure what primer I used at first, but it just didn't work well at all. So when I got this foundation, I put a thing on Instagram saying like, oh my god, why is everyone raving about this foundation? I hate it. It's just like gathering around the nose, on the forehead, on the chin, everywhere. Yeah, it is full coverage, but it just makes me look so old and haggard when really I normally have, like, I haven't really got that many wrinkles. But yeah, so someone recommended using a dewy primer, so I tried this because this is what I had, and you know what, these two just go so well together. If anyone else has this problem with this foundation and is thinking, what is all the hype about, why is everyone raving on it, it just doesn't work for me, try it with a dewy primer. Now I don't think that's going to be ideal for people with oily skin because they probably need a matte primer, but this foundation is so matte anyway that I just found that these two work very well together for my skin anyway. So maybe try it and let me know if it works for you. But yeah, this is gorgeous on the skin. It photographs so well. It really is full coverage. It really, really is very full coverage. And I'd say it's quite a thick formulation. It's not very runny or anything. So it's quite thick, but I find it doesn't dry super quick, whereas this one does. This one, I think there's a bit more time to work with it. But yeah, I'm going to leave the price on screen as well. But yeah, for £10, I feel like this is literally one of my favourite foundations. It's such a good buy. So I definitely recommend this. But like I say, if you're having trouble with it the same way I did, then I definitely use a dewy primer. Now, the only downside to this foundation, apart from the cracks and gathering that I've just said, which the primer fixed, is that Maybelline do test on animals, and I'm just not cool with that. Like, I really don't like investing my money into products that test on animals. I just don't like funding that or supporting that. So that is a big downside to this foundation. So if anyone would like a dupe for this foundation, then I think I found one. I think the Primark PS My Perfect Colour Double Coverage Matte Foundation. This is in the shade, what shade am I? Shade Beige. I feel like this is a very, very good dupe for this. And Primark is cruelty free, so I've heard that this is a dupe for the Estee Lauder Double Wear, but I think these two are very, very similar, and this one is cruelty free, so, and it's cheaper. This one's £10, this one's £5, so I'd probably recommend that one as a dupe, but generally that one is such a good foundation. So that's the second foundation from the list. This was just a side note of a dupe for this one. If anyone wants a cruelty free version, I thought I'd include that. So moving on now to the third foundation. So the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation, and my shade is Golden Beige. So this is just the original Photo Focus foundation. Now this foundation is so full coverage. It's a very runny formulation, which is fine. I don't mind anything about the formulation, it's fine. It doesn't dry too quick. You've got time to actually work with the product, which I like, because sometimes there's nothing worse than when you put a concealer on or a foundation just drying and then you go to blend it out and you actually can't. It's just really hard work. This one's not like that. This one's very, very full coverage, and the only thing that I want to mention is that it really does look like you're wearing makeup. So I've noticed that when I wear this foundation, you really can tell. Like, you can tell now that I've got makeup on. Obviously, I've got a full coverage face on, but I feel like when I wear this, it's really heavy duty, and you really can tell that, like, I've got a full face of makeup on. Another thing to mention about this is it doesn't really dry down, so it feels very tacky on the skin. So when I've used this foundation in the past, I'll put it all over the skin, and then if there's anywhere that I haven't set with powder, so sometimes, for example, underneath here, when I haven't actually baked yet, I've touched it and it's been very tacky, so the skin feels very tacky, so it kind of doesn't dry down. So I've found that if you set this foundation all over the face with a, you know, translucent powder or whatever, that works so well. But yeah, this foundation, I'm going to leave the price, but I think it's £4.99, and you know what, it photographs amazing. It really is a stunning foundation. It's definitely full coverage, and again, this brand is cruelty free, Wet n Wild, and it's vegan, so there's another bonus for this product. But yeah, something I definitely recommend would be this foundation. So the fourth foundation I'm going to recommend is the NARS Sheer Glow. So I've got this foundation in the shade Medium 3 Stromboli. So it's a very, very yellow undertone, the shade Stromboli, but it really does photograph so well. And I feel like it's just natural enough and light enough to be used as like wedding makeup when you want your skin to have a little bit of coverage, but you just want it to be natural and flawless. I'd say this is like my go-to foundation. So if I was doing a client for a wedding or whatever, I'd definitely this would be my go-to. It's got so many shades, and I feel like the undertones to the shades are so unique. It's a definite must from me. And also, side note, I've actually done a Foundation Friday video on this foundation as well, and I've definitely done a review of this, and I've also done a review of this foundation, but I've done this foundation versus the Conceal and Hydrate by Revolution, so that's a bit of a different video. But go and check them all out. Please give them a like, please give them a comment, let me know what you think. Last but not least of my top 5 foundations is the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear 24-Hour Foundation. Now, my shade is Linen, which is the number 100. This foundation, it's a bit of a runny formulation, so it's a bit like, it's not a thick formulation, but when I've applied this to the skin, it is just flawless. It photographs so well. And I'd even say it's kind of similar in consistency. So these two are both quite runny foundations. It's quite similar in consistency and undertones. So they're both very, very yellow, these undertones. So I'd say these are quite similar. Obviously this one is more expensive. This one is probably a third of the price. But both of these brands do test on animals. So that's a downside for both of these foundations. They both test on animals. So obviously, like I've explained, that's not really anything that I like to promote or put my money to. I'd much prefer, I would definitely switch these foundations if I could find cruelty-free dupes. I'd definitely switch and not use them. So if anyone knows any cruelty-free or vegan dupes for these products, then please let me know in the comment section. But yeah, this foundation photographs so well. It's so flawless. I don't think it's full coverage, as this one is not full coverage. I feel like it's just buildable, maybe medium coverage. So yeah, if you just need something fresh and natural for daytime, or even if you've got quite good skin and you need something for going out sort of thing, this is definitely the foundation for you. So yeah, these are my top foundations. And yeah, if you have any recommendations for any dupes, cruelty-free ones or vegan ones, then like I've said, please drop me a comment in the comment section down below. But yeah, generally speaking, these are my absolute holy grail top 5 foundations. They're the foundations that if I'm ever going somewhere and I need my skin to look flawless, these are the 5 foundations I'll always dip between. So it's also the same with clients. When I do clients, not that I've done any for ages because of this COVID, but when I do clients, depending on what the client's skin type is and what type of look they want, if they want full coverage or a bit more natural, these foundations are the 5 that I will always look to first. Let me know what your top 5 foundations are, because like I've said, I'm running out of foundations to try for my Foundation Friday videos. So if you've got any recommendations, leave them down below. Let me know, what are your top 5 foundations? Are they the same as mine? Do you not like any that I've mentioned? But before you go, please subscribe, please like this video, and also please turn on that notification bell so you won't miss any uploads from me or my channel every week. let me know what you think of this series in the comment section. Do you like this top 5 foundations? Would you like me to do top 5 concealers, top 5 eyeshadow palettes? Please let me know in the comment section. And most of all, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.